Hey friends, it's Corey from Hey Let's Make Stuff. In this video, we are going to be tackling another beginner laser tutorial, and that is how to mask our materials. This is something that beginner laser users may not be aware of, but it is an important step when preparing our materials to cut or engrave in our laser. A mask is basically a sticky-backed piece of material that we are going to apply to our wood or acrylic before we put it in the laser to cut, engrave, or score. As your laser cuts, scores, or engraves, it creates char marks and soot and other things that can stick to your material. Additionally, on the back side of your material, you can get marks called flashback marks. That is basically when the laser hits the bottom of the bed of the laser and sort of bounces back up and creates marks as it's cutting. If you don't mask your projects, all of that ends up on your material. But if you mask your projects, it ends up on the mask. So when you peel the mask away, your material is perfectly clean. So the question is, do you always need to mask your materials? And generally, yes. If you have a CO2 laser, I would highly recommend masking all of your materials. If you have a diode laser like a Glowforge Aura or an Xtool M1, you'll probably want to mask most of your projects, but you can do some testing and see if there are some settings where you're getting the results you want with very minimal charring, just because that laser is such a low wattage. Last year I made some coloring ornaments for my boys, and I was using an unmasked material, and I just decided not to mask it just for time's sake, and it turned out okay. Like, there was a little bit of charring around the edge. They were wood. I used a magic eraser on them, and I got a lot of that charring up. Was it perfect? No. If I was going to sell these ornaments, I would definitely mask them, but they were just for my family, and I decided in that case I didn't need to mask. You may also not need to mask your projects if you are painting them. So if you want to paint all your pieces afterward, you may not bother with the masking step because your paint is going to cover up that charring. Just know that depending on the type of paint you're using, you may end up getting that sort of soot inside your paint. So if you're using like white paint, for instance, you may want to mask so that you're not pulling up that soot and it's mixing with your paint. Masking comes in a variety of sizes. I have 6-inch masking here. It also comes in 12-inch masking and some other sizes. I actually like the 6-inch masking just because I find it a little bit easier to work with than the wider 12-inch masking. You can use both. I just find I get fewer bubbles this way, and it does take a little bit longer because for larger sheets I have to, do 2 strips of it. But overall, I have found that the 6-inch works really well, but the 12-inch is out there too, and it applies the same. Some materials come pre-masked, like this Glowforge proof grade material. All of Glowforge's proof grade material comes pre-masked, which is one of the reasons I really like it. That means that you can skip all of the rest of this. If it already has a mask on there, you don't have to do anything else. In the overhead view here, you can see what I'm talking about when it comes to charring. So I masked this top portion up here, and we will be removing that later in this video. Down here at the bottom, you can see the unmasked version, and you can see all of that charring around the edges of my letters. It's just really unsightly, and you can easily avoid that by using a mask. All right, so let me show you how to actually mask a project. There are only a few things you're going to need. You're obviously going to need your masking. You're going to need the material that you're going to mask. You're going to need a scraper of some sort. So I've got 3 options here. I have a brayer, which I like. This is my favorite. It's the extra large Cricut scraper. It works really well, especially with this size material. And then I have a little squeegee. You can use one of these tools. You could use a credit card. You could use basically anything that you want to smooth this masking down on top of your material. I also like to prepare my projects on top of a self-healing cutting mat, and I like to use a craft knife to trim the edge of this once I have the masking on so that I have a straight edge to use next time. Applying this is very easy. You just want to pull off about as much as your material here, and then you're going to line it up just like this with the edge. I do it with the top edge here, and then just get it started, and then you can use your scraper to apply it just like this. And if you have some small wrinkles like I have here, you can work them out, but small wrinkles are not a problem. Just like that. Now I like to flip this all over and then use my craft knife here to trim this off using the edge of my material as a guide. This means that I always have that straight edge to do my next portion. Now, sometimes if I'm doing a smaller project, I will just mask part of it because I don't know if I'm going to want to mask the rest of this, and I don't want to waste masking or my time. But if you want to mask the whole thing, you can do the second half, just like this. It is okay if there is a little bit of an overlap, just like that. And then again, flip it over and cut it. And that's it. You are going to want to do the back side as well because like I said, you can get flashback marks. Actually, let me show you. So if I flip over this piece I did earlier, you can see here that I have some of these flashback marks along the edge. You can see them up here on the masking as well. But again, the masking will protect our wood from those flashback marks, which is why you want to mask both the front and the back. Let's talk about one other product that can be used instead of masking. So this is 3M double-sided adhesive and it is used for layered projects. So I have one over here that I made recently and it's basically a Stanley cup topper, like one of those 40-ounce Stanley tumblers, and you can set this through, the straw goes through the hole, but it's got 2 layers here. It's got the base layer here, this yellow layer, and then it's got the pink layers on top. And I used that adhesive instead of masking so that when I went to peel off the adhesive backing, I could just sandwich these 2 together and I wouldn't have to worry about glue. This is one of my favorite products, and so if you're using this, just know that you don't have to use masking. Another fun thing that masking can help us with is, like in this project here, I have this engraved smiley face and I wanted to color it in with white paint pen. So I did that before I removed the masking, and the masking protected the pink unengraved part, and it allowed me to just get the paint pen exactly where I wanted it. So if you want to do something like coloring in your engraving with paint pens, do that before you remove the masking. I really like it on acrylic. You can also do it on wood, but I find that sometimes because of the grain of the wood, the paint pen can spread a little bit. So just do some tests before you do your final project. All right, now it's time to remove our masking and see just how much cleaner our project is with it than it is without it. There are several ways to remove masking, starting with just like your thumbnail. You can just peel it up, but I have 3 tools here that I like to use, so check them out, see if that's something that you might want to use as well. The first is Gorilla Tape. So it is very sticky duct tape, and I'm going to pull up just a piece here. I just got a brand new roll, so it's enormous. And then I actually have some specialized duct tape scissors that are, I think, Teflon coated so that they don't stick to the duct tape. I love them. Now I'm going to peel this up. Now I will say that I find that the duct tape works better on projects that I have masked and not quite as good on projects that Glowforge or other brands have masked. Sometimes even this is just not sticky enough, so I would use one of the other methods, but with something I've masked myself, this is a great way. So you just sort of apply it, and then as you peel it up, you can see here that it just pulls everything up. So easy, right? If the duct tape isn't working, like on those proof grade materials sometimes, I will use my weeding hook, with the big caveat that this can scratch your material, so just be really careful with it. So I'm actually gonna flip this over to show you how you can do it back here, but I will sort of just like go at the edge here, just enough so that I can pull it up with my hands. The third tool I have here is a plastic razor blade, and I love this little thing, especially for projects like this, where I have already taken off the outside masking, but I've got some smaller pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead here and show you, you just run it across like this, and it will peel up your masking just like that. I mean, it's so easy. Check that out. Now you can really see the difference between the masked version and the unmasked version. This looks amazing. This looks not amazing. You can see around the edge up here, much cleaner. Obviously, all of that soot and charring, so much better here. Even on the back where I have all the flashback here, I do not have any on the back here. And there you have it. Masking is a very simple process, but it really does make a huge difference in your final project. If you found this laser video helpful, I would appreciate a like. If you want more laser, sublimation, and Cricut content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next week.